Also, I had to find, one time they wanted me to find out if there was such a thing as a poison that was undetectable, especially one that seemed to mimic a heart attack, that would kill someone, but it would appear that they had a heart attack. I did find such a thing.
Does this pistol fire the dart?
Yes, it does, Mr. Chairman, and a special one was developed which potentially would be able to enter the target without perception.
The poison was frozen into some sort of dart, and then it was shot at very high speed into the person, so when it reached the person it would melt inside them, and the only thing would be like one little tiny red dot on their body, which was hard to detect. There wouldn't be a needle left or anything like that in the person.
But also the toxin itself would not appear in the autopsy?
Yes, so that there was no way of perceiving that the target was hit.
10 years ago, you couldn't even talk about the Israel lobby. Today, we can. We do. It's explosive, it's controversial, but we do.
Seeing UFOs firsthand, watching the news, seeing them, I was fascinated by the idea that something like that would exist. And I was told that it's fringe science, it's kooky, you don't want to put it together with science because you're going to end up with no understanding. And that's the paradox.
Of the things that we'll be seeing have been selected out of over 100,000 high-resolution strips from Mars as ones that in some way impressed us as anomalous, or generally of the character that if they had been images taken of the Earth from orbit, there would be little cause to doubt, or the leading explanation would be human activity.
I normally don't read statements, but I think I'm going to start reading this one. Science is going through a major revolution. There's no question about it. We are living in exciting times in spite of what government agencies might tell you. And probably in no area has there been more misunderstanding than in the area of the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Whenever anybody embarks on this search, there seems to be great controversy, great misunderstanding. And yet, more than 2 decades of responsible research by investigators outside of NASA on this object, the so-called face on Mars, have revealed very strong evidence, not yet proof, that this object and other objects nearby were artificially constructed. And yet NASA and its contractors have shown no interest in these objects and have obfuscated the research. History is full of examples of denial and suppression of new ideas by the establishment. We have Galileo, Copernicus, Bruno, the Wright brothers, and so forth. In each case, the conventional wisdom was reversed by the investigations of courageous outside researchers who have risked their careers and sometimes their lives to seek the truth rather than to be politically correct. My colleague, Dr. Tom Van Flandern, is one example. I have known Dr. Van Flandern for nearly 40 years and can attest to the thoroughness and integrity of his research. During the 1960s, we were graduate students together at Georgetown University. Tom went on for his PhD at Yale. I went on for my PhD at the University of California in Berkeley. Then I was appointed by NASA to be the first astronaut to Mars. Unfortunately, the Mars program was canceled at that point. Tom and I each pursued mainstream careers in astronomy research, publishing dozens and dozens of peer-reviewed papers in our fields, until the 1980s, when we independently began to address promising but unsupported topics, such as the Mars anomalies.
NASA was recovering up quite a bit. In the past, Mars was certainly more Earth-like. There was liquid water there. If we see the erosional features, dried up riverbeds, lakes, we may be looking at our own future by looking at Mars.
Is there a reason why you're in Ecuador that might be linked to the cover-up?
Yes, there are a number of reasons. I have had a history of being threatened, and many of the people who did try to do me in are still around. Prudence suggests that we just move here.